We're at the St James Trust Church in sunny London. Well, when I say sunny London, I perhaps mean rainy London, but it's okay. We're inside for the moment, and we're joined by the congregation who are here for the Soul Calibur V Impact UK qualifiers and European finals. Let's see what they've got in store for us.
One of the things that you might have saw for the advertising for Soul Calibur V was the graffiti, and this is actually the company that have done it, End of the Line, and they've got a special booth at the Impact today, and they're actually doing like limited edition t-shirts. Now you'll see the queue, they've just been told they are limited edition, not going to be many to pick up, so queue now to see what you can get. And I would say it's a very simple sort of process, just you know, cutting out iconic sort of character renders and then spraying them onto a t-shirt. Well, when I say easy, I couldn't do it, and that's pretty cool, as you can see. Now, it's not all about Soul Calibur. There is a bit of some relaxation, and relaxation in the fighting tournament means a bit of tech and tag. There's also Soul Calibur, original Soul Calibur booths on display, and you're able to play here. And really, if we're talking about getting back to the beginning of everything with Soul Calibur, we really should actually talk to the team. We caught up with Project Soul's Otima Sham, who is the game director, to see his thoughts on the fighting community and the legacy of Soul Calibur. Well, does it feel like this is the planned end result of creating a fighting game like Soul Calibur V?
As being this game as a tool of competitive fighting was the bottom line for us. So being able to hold these kind of tournaments, we are really happy. But also we want to have accessible enough for anyone to start.
I have to say, who do you play with mostly?
He doesn't have one particular character he especially uses. He pretty much plays around with 5 or 6 characters. He started off with Pura, but the character he uses most right now is probably Algal.
Just mentioning this fine gentleman here, Soul Calibur has been fantastic for bringing on guest characters of itself. We've had Link, Yosumitsu, Spawn, and how do you feel looking at the wider fighting games now that everybody seems to be including a guest fighter in their games? You guys seem to have started that trend. How do you feel about these other games doing that as well?
I think it's a good. He thinks it's a good thing, because it used to be like game companies competing against each other, but now having these kind of guest fighter kind of stuff will have companies collaborate and help each other to raise the game scene. So he thinks that it's a real good thing.
And talking about the game community, even after the game's launched, is there still very vocal feedback? Do you still hear feedback from fans about the strengths and the weaknesses of the game, and perhaps things that they want to see or things that they like, even this long after it's launched?
Yes, we definitely look at the feedbacks from the fans. If they are as looking through those feedbacks, if we have a chance to use it on the next sequel, or maybe like the patch we are going to do, we definitely see those feedbacks and do what we can.
And just to wrap up, what do you feel or what do you want the legacy of Soul Calibur to be?
We don't want the game so that only tournament players can enjoy it, but we do want to make the game so that the tournament player is satisfied.
Alex, I gotta ask you, to be fair, most people in this room are using your product.
Used by 8 out of 10 tournament players, and you know, we're here to support the community. We're here to say thank you. To see the folks using our sticks, it really does bring a thrill to you. It's just great to see. It's lovely.
Can you sort of talk us through about what the difference is with the Soul Edition stick, other from the Street Fighter ones?
So we wanted to do something special for the Soul Calibur fans. First of all, the button configuration is different on the Soul Edition fight stick than it is for the Street Fighter fight stick. so it maps the control system much better for Soul Calibur than the Street Fighter stick does. Now also, the eagle-eyed viewers out there will recognize that the curvature of it's anal, guys, but the curvature of the buttons is different. They're slightly more curved. The buttons are closer to the actual ball-top joystick than they are on the Street Fighter stick, and that's because we're following the Namco arcade configuration. So fighting game community, they'll all know that the Namco arcade actually looks slightly differently than the Street Fighter arcades. Capcom arcade machines look slightly different to the Namco ones, so we followed the Namco arcade configuration. So it means that folks that are really used to playing Tekken and are used to playing on a Namco arcade machine will feel right at home with a Soul Edition fight stick that matches the Namco layout. A product that's just been released this week, in fact, is the brand new Street Fighter Cross Tekken VS stick, and that's the first transforming fight stick in the world. You can actually take the end panels off and you can actually link two of them together so that you've got an exact replica of a two-player Japanese arcade cabinet. So it's developments like this, we literally keep reinventing the wheel, and it's amazing to see how far fighting games have come in the last few years, and the community are dictating to us where they want the range of controllers to go to. And let me tell you, they got some amazing ideas.
Well, are we just basically just going to see arcade cabinets then? Are you going to be able to buy the full range arcade cabinet from Mad Catz at some point in the future?
Maybe, who knows? It's not without the realms of possibilities, you know.
While many have turned up in the casuals, hoodies and jeans, there's a few people amongst the crowd at the event that are a bit more colourfully dressed, including Emily here, who's dressed as Pyra. Now, can you give us a bit of background as to why you're dressed as her?
Basically, there was a Soul Calibur cosplay competition to coincide with the release of the game back in December, and we were given 6 weeks to make a costume from the new game and send in our photos, and I joined the competition and luckily I was the winner. I'm not sure why, but I got lucky, I guess.
I assume that you're a huge fan of Soul Calibur.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Soul Calibur. I've been a fan of the franchise since Soul Edge.
And can you sort of talk to us about what went into making this awesome costume? I mean,
it was all handmade. I don't know what to say really. I just bought the fabrics and just.
Have you been designing costumes for a while?
Yeah, I've been cosplaying for 10 years. I'm also a cosplay event organizer. I organize an event called the Grand Cosplay Ball, which we have every year in London. And I also work for an event called Hyper Japan as the cosplay organizer as well. Normally at cosplay events, there are cosplay events which are competitive, but most of the time people cosplay for the love of it. And if you can enter a competition and win a prize, that's great. But mostly we do it for the love of it.
What do you think it is that you find so enjoyable about cosplaying? Is it about celebrating the game that means so much to you?
Yeah, I think it's a combination. It's partly a love for the character and the game. It's wanting to, when you see a really cool character, wanting to bring that character to life. But it's also sometimes just the challenge of making the costume, or a love for the design as well. With Pyra, I chose her because I was a big fan of Sophitia and Cassandra in the previous games, but I wanted to cosplay them, but I never really felt I could pull them off. Whereas with Pyra, she's kind of a smaller, cuter character, so I thought maybe there's a chance I can cosplay.
Hello, Kani.
Hello.
How's it going?
I'm good, and you?
Yeah, not bad. Are you excited to be here in London today?
Yeah, I'm very glad to be here today.
Fantastic.
So what do you think about Pyra Omega compared to normal Pyra?
Pyra Omega is cooler for a start, which is important. Pyra Omega is pretty, you can see she's aggressive, she's crazy, she's pretty sick in the head, and she basically wants to kill you. That's what she's kind of doing.
At the venue, we actually managed to bump into one of the Soul Calibur, well, not even Soul Calibur, just one of fighting genre's top players. Would that be correct, Kane?
Yeah, I'm a top player from France, and I am sponsored by eLive and a professional gamer.
Can you sort of talk us about your background, about how you got into the Soul Calibur, even the fighting community?
Well, I began to play fighting games when I was 7 years old, and I began tournaments at 9, and I've been ranked vice-champion in France of Soul Calibur 1, 2, and Dead or Alive when I was around 10 years old. So since then I continued tournaments, and I have been awarded by the Guinness World Records for being the first female player to have been ranked top 3 in more than 42 tournaments. So that's a great achievement for me.
What sort of what practice do you get in on a daily or weekly Well, I mean, do you dedicate like quite a few hours an evening to just practicing on the game?
Well, when I train, it really depends on my business school homeworks, because I'm still a student and I have a priority on school, of course. So I think in average I play 1 hour per day, but it happens that I don't play at all during the week and that I play more on the weekend, so that it's 1 hour, I think, per day.
And just sort of to finish, what is it about Soul Calibur for you that makes it the game to play?
I really like Soul Calibur for its atmosphere. I like the medieval story and atmosphere. The music's are really, really good. And also I really love the team behind the game. They are so passionate, and we can see that so much. So I just like what is around this game. The players as well, they are very nice and welcome everybody. And the community made me like the game. And now I really like the Soul Calibur 5 producer too. So I really want to know this game a lot because I know he made a good game. No, oh my god.
He's not going to take any risks right now.
Yes!
Very nice block from Hyrule. Oh. And Hyrule gets it. Hyrule doesn't believe himself. He is in complete shock right now. And he just won. He just won and he cannot believe it. He is in complete shock. Hyrule won. Congratulations to Hyrule. Amazing performance. He cannot believe him on his own.
How does it feel to actually win that? Because
Really good, yeah. I already lost to Will earlier on in the tournament, and he was one of the players that I was scared of, but when I played him recently in casual and stuff, I have beaten him quite badly, so I was feeling maybe a little bit overconfident in those games. And when he started changing things, I didn't react in the semi-finals, so I was really lucky, I think, to get another chance. And you saw me quite cheaply switch to another character that just does a lot more damage, because I figured that Will would have more trouble dealing with that character. And
so, watching the last two matches there, and you were Lexia and then you were with Natsu to begin with. Do you favour the sort of lighter, faster characters?
In general, yeah. I mean, I loved fighting games when I was a kid, Street Fighter and stuff. I never really played against people because all my friends, they weren't as assessed as me, so I was a little bit too good, and I never knew about scenes and stuff. When I bought an Xbox and I found out that Dead or Alive was going to come out online, like, I didn't really play 3D fighting games till Dead or Alive 3. That was like a dream come true, so I was like, oh my god, I'm going to get to play against people. And the first character in that game was Kasumi. She was just where the P1 thing, you know, sits, so I just picked her first, and I just thought the character was awesome, fell in love with that character. And since then, because I played her competitively, I've almost naturally inclined towards, the sort of faster characters, the characters that can have advantage in tight situations, yeah.
Now, what was quite interesting there is you were just using the standard controller, which seems a bit odd, given the usual Mad Cat circuit.
Yeah, a lot of Soul Calibur players favour the PlayStation controller. I actually prefer Xbox controller. I hate the PlayStation controller. I find it very difficult to use. You saw me making all sorts of mistakes with inputs. Most players, of course, use sticks, but for me, an Xbox controller is A-OK, but it wasn't possible today. The tournament was on PS3, so...
Yeah, you still won.
I managed to pull through, yeah, despite everything, yeah.
All right, we've seen battles, we've seen wars, we've seen tears, we've seen tantrums, we've seen smiles, we've seen enthusiasm, but above all, we have seen passion today. This was the Soul Calibur V Impact UK and European Finals. I'm Gil McAllister. Tune in next time for more fun game stuff.